Pretty sure we're both going to be right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why not?
I don't know. Fast forward 12 months. Sean Deeb, peak weight 500 pounds. Sean Daniels, eaten by Sean Deeb.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
Hi guys, welcome. This is Table 1 Podcast. Justin Young, Art Parman. That's him. This is the end of year Christmas edition. This will be the last one we will produce before 2024, and a lot of shenanigans will happen next year, I suppose. But this is more to just talk about what's happened this year and more hopes for next year.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about our favorite podcast of the year, even though there haven't been many. Where we've come from, where we are now, where we are going to be next year.
Hope to be, but sure, where we're gonna be. That's good. Good positive attitude. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's. I guess we could start off with what?
Favorite podcast seems like a good place. Like I know we only had 3, but we had Chino, we had Lynn Ashby, and we had Nick Howard. And
are you ruling out all the ones where it was just us that could have been your favorite?
Honestly, like the very first one we did might have honestly been my favorite, just because like Chino and Lynn and Nick did all the heavy lifting. Where like the very first one we did, I think we did a pretty good job. It was just our first time, so like it was kind of like.
Yeah, technically wise, it was a little bit worse. And,
I mean, everything wise. Like, like the first time I had sex, I probably wouldn't rate that like in my top 1,000. Super brag here. I probably had sex 1,000 times.
Damn, you are all pretty old though.
But that being said, like, memory wise, like the first one was very special. It really was. Like it was new and fun. And you know what? I take that back. I think the first one was probably my favorite one.
All right.
No full one. Like for anyone that wants to go back, I don't think technically it was that bad. I don't know. Like we had some issues, but it was nothing terrible.
Yeah, mostly it was just sound quality because we just had one crappy microphone. It was kind of echoey. You're gonna have to turn the podcast all the way up, and if there's any ads or like weird stuff in there, it's gonna be really really loud in between us talking. But that's okay. Just turn your radio up. Turn it back down when you're done. You're good.
And we're going to continually get better. And when I say us, Art does 99% of the work, so I just show up like a drunken monkey. And
he's the talent.
I mean, between the two of us, I am.
I'm the talent manager, and it's not easy to get him out here to do these, which is why we had a week off last week, guys. I don't know if you noticed, but it's not all his fault. I was in Disneyland with the family again. I swear, if I didn't have Disneyland, I would have a lot more money.
So, do some of the mascots, like, does Mickey Mouse recognize you, like, when you go so often? I know he sees a lot of people, but, like, surely, like, when you go, like, 12 times a year, does he just look at you like, these guys?
He looks at me, and he points at me, and he waves when he's going down the parade, and I assume that that's just to me, not my children or other people around.
Definitely not at your kids. Yeah.
Sure. It's hard to see the expressions in the eyes. I don't know what's going on with his face, but he keeps he'd be a good poker player. He's very stone-faced Mickey Mouse.
I bet he's stoned as well.
Well, some versions of him might be.
Either way, so like, okay, I'm going to change my answer. I honestly think the first one we did is my favorite one. I'll let like chime on the other one, but the first one, you guys should go back and watch But B, it's more about how Art and I got into the gambling lifestyle. Not even like poker necessarily, but like kind of got over that hurdle of going from poker's a hobby or gambling's a hobby to this is what I want to do for a living. And like it's kind of been a consistent theme that we've had throughout all of our podcasts, which is why it's kind of my favorite. Like even the ones with like Chino and Lynn and like Nick, that's kind of like the main thing we talk about is like their origin story, I would say.
It's true, and it's fun. It's fun hearing it back when I was editing it. Is like, oh, that's how Justin got his money from almost being done with poker, and just all these little just nuances that have trickled their way into our other interviews with the other guests that we've had. It definitely has set the tone for the podcast.
And it's quite special because like anyone that's been in poker longer than 5, 10, 15 years like we have, you need a lot of luck. You need a lot of stories to get you to that point. No one just like gets into poker and is just like, oh, I just win. And in a few months, I'm just going to win again. And in a year, I'm just going to win again. And it's not a big deal. I just print money and it's fine. And I go home and I don't go sports bet or play craps or anything like that. And I just have a normal life. That doesn't happen. Or not in my experience anyway. It just doesn't happen. So like everyone's got these weird, wild stories of almost being broke or almost being a whatever 5 millionaire or almost winning the main event or whatever, and everywhere in between, where it's scary, and that's kind of why we do it.
I think that I don't know why I just thought of it. I guess because you said almost being broke, and just that made me think of Barry Greenstein's book, that Ace on the River. That was my favorite poker book for a long time, because it's not really a strategy book. It's just like poker lifestyle book, and like the way that you almost go broke all the time, and like it just becomes like, oh, I got to liquidate something because my bankroll needs it, you know? And sorry, we're moving into a smaller house. Shout out to Billy Walters when he lost his house playing cards. And it's just fun, not fun in the moment type stuff that happens. And then you look back on it and you have a story and hopefully just a scar, and you're not out of gambling.
Yeah, and to be fair, like as old as I am and as many stories as I have personally, every single time I get over like one of these humps where I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was insane. I'm never going to go through on this road ever again. I'm going to be safe and sound because that was way too hard mentally on me or on my marriage or on me and my dog's relationship or whatever it is. And it's crazy because like every time you're like, oh, I'm going to be so much wiser. And then all of a sudden you get to a point where you're like, well, I didn't know this could happen, and things just change. And I mean, it's just life in general. Clearly, not just the gambling world, but it specifically the gambling world. Every time you think you have it figured out, I promise you don't.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true for a lot of aspects of life that we don't know about too, in businesses and other careers. But the swings are way more accentuated with the choices that we make.
No, for sure. And but the problem with our lifestyle in general, the gambling lifestyle, is we get bored if it were just to be mundane and like whatever. If we had like a very nice like upgraph of like our profits or something like that.
Sure, there's a reason we don't have a day-to-day paycheck type of job.
Exactly right. So like at some point, like even if you have that luxurious lifestyle of just being able to win consistently for a few months in a row, which is just the best feeling. There's like the gambler lifestyle just like clicks in and you're just like, nope, how can I fuck this up? What can I do? Oh, do you want me to invest in this business? Sure, let's fuck it. It's fine. I don't care. It's only money.
Yeah.
Because like I'm winning money right now and like I'm not doing anything crazy. So let's just like risk this money.
Yeah. And then 1 year later, you're like, oh, why did I put that money into that thing? I could really use 25K right now or whatever the figure might be.
25K is a very good estimate, but yeah, there you go. So what is your favorite cast of the year?
God, it's a really hard decision for me because I really loved the Chino episode where he goes into like his backstory, where he first found gambling and all that stuff is just so entertaining, and he's such a good storyteller. But I don't know. I think it lands on Len just because I've known Len longer personally, and I just love his storytelling ability, and his actual stories are just so funny. He's the version of a gambler that, despite his degenness, like I think he actually did find it, and I don't think he plays Pai Gow anymore. I don't think he bets sports, but he does it with an edge. Like he's turned into a sharp gambler, but still a gambler at heart. And his stories are just like evidence of his evolution coming up that path, and it's just it's you see his diversity between, you know, moving to Vegas and having to play No Limit Hold'em because there's no big PLO, learning and crushing those games. I know that he did.
But what was your favorite story out of his set?
God, my favorite story.
I have mine. Set. Sorry, I'm not trying to like.
No. I mean, there were some good ones. I really like the one where he God, man, I was about to tell one, and now I just thought of like another one. I'll just say my favorite. The one that I thought of first was the one where he went to some poker game, the Limit Hold'em one, and he won a bunch of money. There were these guys there drawing dead that couldn't play. These businessmen in there for a conference, and then he told the guy he had to work. And you guys have to go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. That episode is underplayed significantly compared to like Chino's
really
episode
is.
has like at the time of this recording has like 8,000 views. Len's has 2,000, and it's at least as good as Chino's.
I agree.
So there's a story in there where he goes to play Hold'em, and he goes home, he wins, but before he goes home, the guy that was kind of telling him about the game is like, listen, I'll see you tomorrow, and he has a job, and he's like, oh, no, I got to work tomorrow, and he ends up
tomorrow.
Yeah, he ends up just going home and getting his way out of work, and you'll have to watch the episode to really appreciate it. I could not tell the story the same way.
So, my favorite Lynn part of that podcast was the sportsbook part. And like, I'll just bring that up real quick. Everyone should go back and watch it. I'm not going to try to recreate it because like trying to recreate Lynn's stories, it's a bad precedent. Like we would just look terrible, honestly.
It's like summarizing a master storyteller.
Yeah, exactly right.
You can't do that.
But I do want to say my favorite personal, the one I'm actually attached to that wasn't brought up in his podcast, came probably about like 6-7 years ago. I can't remember if you were at the table or not. This was a Monday, and I know this specifically because it was after a Broncos game. And I'm a huge Broncos fan. I watch every game, I would say minimum twice. Like it's quite the obsession for me, and like it's embarrassing I get to say that. But either way, I got to watch it. This back in the Kubiak years after we won the Super Bowl. So whatever. Kubiak had a decision at one point, and to Lynn's recollection, he said he made the wrong decision. He called a timeout with like X amount of time left in the game. So we're talking about this, and Lynn thinks the timeout was with like 2.5 minutes left. And I've seen the game twice, mind you. And I'm like confident, like, no, there was exactly 6.5, 7 minutes left in the game. I understand what you're saying. I think you're wrong. I think Kubiak made the right decision. So we're just like lightly chatting, and like anyone that knows Lynn Ashby, he speaks with such confidence. It's quite scary. And when I say scary, I don't mean he's aggressive. I just mean the confidence is 100%. There is no room for doubt. So when he said like, Justin, I know you're wrong. It was exactly 2.5 minutes left in the game. I'll bet you any amount in the world that you're wrong. And I'm just like, I know I'm right here, or whatever. Let's just do a friendly bet, Lynn. $100. He's like, $100, $1,000. I was like, Lynn, I watched it this morning before this game. Like, I mean, I'll take 1,000 from you, but like, you should not do this. He's like, $1,000. Okay, fine, $1,000. You got it. So we go to look it up, ESPN.com, where they have like the play-by-play, where you can see where everything happens. It shows up. Timeout called. Gary Kubiak, 6 minutes 42 seconds, something like that. I'm like, Lynn, I'm sorry. You lost the bet. I tried to tell you.
Yeah.
He looked me dead in the eye. I was like, that's fucking wrong. I'll bet $5,000 on it. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's right here. He's like, I bet you that's a glitch. You're fucking wrong. $5,000. Just take it if you want it. Like, just take it. Just take it. Like, you got my money. Just take my money. And I was just like, he spoke with such confidence. I'm looking at the ESPN app. I watched the game twice, and I was like, no bet. No bet. I
Did
won't
you get
do
your
it.
1,000, or did you call the bet off?
No, I got the 1,000. I got the 1,000. I was like, oh, I'm happy risking 1,000. But like, that's how confident Lynn is, or like how good of a storyteller he is. I watched the game twice. I'm looking at the ESPN app, proving that I'm correct. And like, I still wasn't 100%. And that's so weird, because like, I literally, after the game, I went home. I still had a DVR or whatever it was. Sorry, that's so old. But like, on DVR, and I watched it, and I made sure. I was like, fuck, I could have got 5,000 from Len. But that's how confident he is, and he's amazing at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to turn this into a pile on Len when he's wrong thing. He's not afraid to put his money where his mouth is.
Nope.
But do you remember, and Len will probably hate that I even bring this up, but there was a NBA playoff series. I think it was with the Boston Celtics. I can't remember who they were playing. Do you?
I know. No, I don't. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
so they were down in the series, maybe 2 games,
Yeah.
or it could have been the elimination game coming up. And I think he was watching Isaiah Thomas play or somebody like that, and he was like, listen, they're not winning another game in the series. There's no shot. And they were underdogs anyway, but he said it with such strength and confidence, like you said. He was like, and he puts his money where his mouth is. Len doesn't make a bet and not.
Oh, no.
And he will sometimes say something and not bet on it, but if he's super confident, he will bet on it. And he said something and got called in multiple places and lost a lot of money on this decision. He said, the Celtics will not win another game in this series. I will lay 40-1.
Oh, that's right.
And he was. Len's not a drinker. He wasn't like drunk and being crazy. He was just watching the game. He said it matter-of-factly, and like people started chucking him yellow chips, just like buck, buck, buck. And he was like, I think I don't know how much he let people bet.
Did you get a bet on it or no?
I bet him 100. I think.
Yeah,
Like
right,
I think
yeah,
everyone like gave him. He might have capped people at $100 or something,
Yeah.
but I think Len ended
I think
up
he
losing
had
40,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he had quite a bit of money at the back end of it for sure.
Yeah, like a couple people threw one case trying to get big bets down, but I think what ended up happening is he took 100 from like everyone that wanted it basically, and sure enough, the next game they won outright, and to Len's credit, he just paid everyone, and a few of the people he paid, he's like. He told us a funny story. I don't know if he's probably mentioned it before to you too, where he like paid everyone, or it was before they lost actually, and he got a call from like a sharp sports bettor friend of ours, or like a text message. It was like, "Hey, are you still taking action on that 40 on that 40-1 thing that you offered? Just want to get a friendly 1,000 on it." And yeah, you and I both know who I'm talking about. Yeah. But so that's one of my favorite Len stories that he didn't tell on the pod, that he probably wouldn't even like that I was telling, but I think he's okay with it.
I'm pretty sure we're going to have him on again at some point, probably the next year, because if you guys think that like the stories he told were all his stories, you're wrong.
Tip of the
iceberg. If you think it's like half his stories, you're wrong. It might be 1% of his stories, and I'm being dead serious. I think we could have him on every month, and we still would not tell retell the same story like twice for a decade. I honestly don't.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, just anytime I think and keep in mind, he's still playing poker right now, so he's getting new material every single day that he plays. He's like, listen, this dog was on the table. He does not like dogs in the poker room, just FYI. That would be like 26 stories right there.
It really would be.
So yeah, that's why that one lands as my favorite. He's just the entertainer that doesn't care to have a platform to entertain. He has Twitter and he types like Sean Deeb, no grammar, just like as he's talking, and it's like it's about 1% as funny as when you listen to him tell the story. But he still has thousands of followers anyway, because people just they want to know anyway. So yeah, we'll have to get him on for more stories for sure in the future.
Yeah. And if you guys have any suggestions for people you want us to try to get, like, please reach out. We do have a long list of people that are
in the works,
committed to doing it at some point. But I'm not going to drop any names because I don't want them to be surprises. But it's a good long list, and there's a lot of fun names on there. I won't go too far into it or whatever. Like, I don't know. I want to be a bit of a tease. Like
Yeah, no, I'm with you, dude. And then if they back out, we won't get called out this way.
Yeah, exactly right.
Anyways,
yeah.
Phil Hellmuth is going to be on next week. He will not.
No, he's not on the list. I mean, though he could be on the list, but yeah, that'd be something else.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He's chicken. He wouldn't come on.
Imagine him sitting right here.
He'd be like way up there, the fucking tall motherfucker.
We just let him stand so he could look over us.
We just get him from like here down, where his Bitcoin Latinum hat isn't in the shot. How much money do you think he made to wear that thing? He has to wear it like always. I think it's glued to. I think he has to sleep in it.
Of course, because like the person that told him to invest in it also made him promote it as well. So my guess. Sorry.
I don't know. I just think that I don't even know if that's still around, that Bitcoin Latinum. He wears the hat everywhere.
Oh, he just still wears it even though it's not a thing?
Well, I think he had a contract and he probably got a bunch of money up front because that's how he would negotiate it.
Oh, I figured that. Good deal.
So he's like, all right, 1 year of this hat booked. It's glued on. What if I had to do it for this hat? Merry Christmas. I'm wearing a Santa hat for those listening, not watching. Justin with a fine Broncos Santa hat on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a spirit.
I mean, I think the people know now. You watch every game twice. I mean, I catch a glimpse of it on Red Zone, and I think I know what's going on. But
no, I'm unfortunately obsessive or gratefully obsessive about that kind of stuff. But either way, go Broncos for the next 3 games. 10-7 might be good enough. I don't think it will be though. Either way, so. We've only been doing our Table 1 game 6 months, a bit.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for, 5 months? 4.5 months? Something like that?
Yeah, since October, I think. What are we?
Oh, wow. So it's been like 3.5 months, 4 months?
Yeah, and not long. Well, 1 a week.
And we cannot say like how grateful we are for you guys to like be watching and whatnot. And next year's going to be great too. I don't know. Like,
how great do you think it's going to be?
So, do you mean for Table 1 or for me?
I think I just mean, I mean it a few different ways. I'd like to do this same episode next year. A little bit of we did a little bit of recap, what we like the best. Let's do a little bit of forward thinking and projections. Let's do how we think it's going to be for you on like it doesn't have to be on a financial level, but like on a happiness.
There you go.
Poker cash game at Table 1 versus tournaments. Like, what are you excited about for next year?
I mean, honestly, professionally, poker-wise, like there is a lot to be excited about. Besides Table 1, which is going to be a constant, we're going to be running the game 4 to 5 days a week. I think that's going to remain constant. That's been our average already, and that's crazy for having that be that successful when we just started it 6 months ago. It's absolutely nuts.
It is wild, yeah. Just the community that's formed around Table 1 and the people that we play with on a day-to-day basis, just how much they actually care about, like, not just the Table 1 game, but like the like positivity of like launching the game forward and building this community. And we couldn't do it without the social following as well, you guys. So we appreciate that a lot.
And there will be some surprises that we know about that you guys don't, but that's gonna come up in the next 3 to 6 months. You guys will figure it out. But beyond that, honestly, like I still love taking breaks to play tournaments. Just for me personally, like the Poker Go studios are amazing. For those that are thinking about playing, please look up the schedules. They're amazing. They're amazing. It's a good like atmosphere. The floor is the dealers. Everyone treats you good. The player pool, very friendly. It's not this hoity-toity thing with all the high rollers that people think about.
And it's a very, very short walk to get back to Table 1 after you bust out of the tournament and want to have some fun people to play with and get your 10K back or whatever the buy-in is over at the Poker Go studios.
And in addition, like just tournaments across the board in Vegas have been blown up. Like we're going through the end of the Win tournament right now. We have some friends in the mix, I would say, like at the main event. Lucky Chewy, Chris Mormon, just to name a couple. I'm not really sure.
Love Andrew.
He's
we'll get him on too. After he wins, Andrew, we'll get you right here between us. You can promote your Poker Octopus or whatever thing you got going on right now. I know that shit's gonna be making the games a lot tougher for everybody else because if anybody starts playing like you play, they're gonna be freaking good at poker.
But another shout out to the Win as well. The Win is the one that ran the event with $40 million guaranteed. They just missed their guarantee, but they kicked in the extra like $1.5 million or $2 million. And kudos to them. By the way, that's a big move, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite them to where the guarantee goes down in the future. That would be horrible. Yeah, I mean, as long as the tournament doesn't go away, and that's the bigger part. Because to me personally, like the Wynn runs the best big tournaments in Las Vegas, and I don't think it's close.
When you say, you mean like big field tournaments?
big field tournaments, yeah, correct. Like I'm like, not boohooing like Poker Go or anything like that because they don't like
studio's only
they're
so
kind of
big.
capped at like 100, 110 people or whatever in the
They
studio.
know their niche and their market, and they do it well. The Poker Go does, but Wynn does that at scale, and they're
Massive scale.
They're very good at it. I don't play a ton of tournaments, but when I do, I always enjoy the Wynn, versus some other franchises.
We no reason to mention it or whatever, but like I honestly hope during the World Series of Poker, I hope they take over. There you go. So that's just my kind of hope.
No need to mention it, but
Well, no, I mean I wouldn't directly.
shots fired.
It has nothing to do with the fact I have 0 bracelets and they give out 200 bracelets a year now. I don't even know. Like it might be 400 bracelets a year. Like
Yeah, but think about how Phil Hellmuth views. He has so many.
honestly, that's a
he
good
has
point.
so many, and
That's
now
a
they're
good
being
point.
diluted. They should just start giving out just links to the bracelet. Every time you win,
Sure.
you get like 1 link.
Yeah, if you get an online bracelet, you get like the plate. If you get like final table, you get like 1 link attached to it or something like that.
Yeah.
Believe me, a couple of my friends have won multiple bracelets in the last 2 months, and that's fantastic. Shannon Shore, Jesse Yaganuma, big shout out to you guys.
Oh, Jesse won one?
Yeah, two.
What? Come on,
They
Jesse.
both won 2.
Wow.
And that's awesome. It means
Less.
much less than it used to 10 years ago, and I've talked to both of you. You clearly both know that. But like it is crazy how it's just kind of turned into a money grab where people just want bracelets enough to where they can pay 18% rake and
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because that's one of the things that I wish. I think I saw. I don't know if it was Matt Glantz or maybe it was Brian Micon. You know him?
oh yeah,
He's very vocal on Twitter. Brian is, and I don't. It's one of those things where it's like I feel like I know him just because of how he posts on Twitter, but I only know him a little bit. And he had something on there where he was trying to like pool money. He was like, we should all pool money like from private equity and put Matt Glantz and me in charge of the World Series of Poker, and we will just like blow past everything else and make it the brand that it's meant to be. And I'd love to see that. That would be incredible if some real poker players owned that brand, not just like some big corporation.
So yeah, you just have to like have people from the Harris Corp to like just agree to it. I mean,
Yes, I don't know.
that's it.
I mean, all you
just
have
a
to do is-
multi-billion-dollar industry. This
Yeah, I mean they make
Just try
those
to
kind of
sneak in
deals
there.
all the time, right? You gotta, but that's why the WPT is so cool because it was started by like a group of poker players, like Lyle Berman. Was
that's
one
right.
of the founding members, if I recall, or
That's
at
right.
least
Maury like had a big hand in it. Like I know he was on more on the technical side or whatever, but like the producing side.
You need that, yeah. But no, and you can tell that it's owned by people who care about poker.
That's right.
So.
And by the way, like I hate to keep giving shout outs to the Win. But I will say whenever I play in there and they have like old school like WPTs like replaying like up on the big screens, it gives me so much nostalgia. It's fantastic. Like I'm
Guys,
sure
he used to win WPTs. That's what's going on here.
No, like I mean, I can't remember if I told this on the our first podcast, but like my first ever traveled to job interview for engineering, I went. I think it was Greenville, South Carolina, and I was about to go to bed. I had an interview at 8 o'clock in the morning the next morning. About to go to bed, flipping through channels, Travel Channel, and I saw poker on there. And this is 2003. This is probably one of the first like 4 or 5 episodes they ever saw. And I couldn't believe it was on, because I'd only ever seen it before on ESPN. And like it was no whole cams, no nothing.
And what channel was this? This was just like...
I honestly think they showed this one, but like I think it had Freddie Deeb, John Hennigan, whatever, like just a who's of like 2003 poker. It was fantastic. Like, I want to say Gus Hansen was on there. I think he ended up winning. But either way, like, and I couldn't believe like the whole cam was like kind of brand new at that point. Like it was.
Yeah. I wasn't even into poker, and like I remember the whole cam being like controversial, like after the Moneymaker boom, because that was 03 also, the summer of 03 Moneymaker, and then going forward, I can't remember. Was it Eric Seidel was vocal about
It was Seidel. Yeah,
he would play on the stream, or not the stream obviously,
he
but the
would put his cards
recorded.
to the
But he just
side.
was like, I'm not doing that. I didn't sign up for this, and then they started making you sign up for this.
Yeah, that
and
is
you're
correct.
like, if you don't show your cards, guess what? You're not in the tournament. So, yeah.
But it's cool to like see it. Like, long story short, I missed my interview. I was late about 40 minutes, and anyone that knows me knows I'm never late for anything. But like, I ended up watching about 3 hours of these episodes. Like, I just ran them back to back to back, and I think I went to bed at 3 o'clock, and just I literally not stumbled in, but I walked into the interview about half hour late. It didn't go well
Sorry,
for
I
me.
was watching poker, guys.
Yeah.
Was watching my future job that you don't know about.
Which is funny. Like, one of my actually good friends now was at the same interview. I didn't know him at the time, Pete Buzzard, and like he tells me is like every time like we rehash this, he's just like, I just remember some bearded guy walking in, just like an untucked like polo shirt and like khakis with like long flowing hair and a tongue ring, and just like, sorry guys, I'm a little late.
Poker was on TV. Couldn't look away. Oh, that's great. I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
So that was your introduction to the WPT, huh?
It really was, and like from that point on, obviously it's always been a goal of mine to win one, and it became a very strong goal for me.
Multiple times over, if I recall correctly.
I've tried a few times.
Yeah. No, so the WPT definitely ran by players for the players, and it helps that they seek out like places like the Win that want to do it right. But I mean, just shout out to their team for getting the job done over there. All right.
What are you looking forward to tomorrow? Or next year? Couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's see. So your prediction for next year, just to lock it down, you wanna play a lot of Table 1.
Sure.
Grow our fan base
That's it.
from 1 to 2. 100% growth.
But yeah, I'm probably going to fire between 20 and 40 tournaments between Poker Go and WPTs, just in general. I think it'd be fun for me.
Yeah. I mean, you're always trying to get in those Poker Go at the last minute or whenever you can.
And the streams. Oh, we should talk about the streams. The like Poker Table 1's going to like be in.
Yes. Yeah, we have a friend in the Poker Go universe who has told us that we are going to be able to. I thought we were going to hide the surprises. All right, surprise.
Cool.
We're going to be doing some Table 1 stream games at some point in the future, near maybe, but Justin's about to go on vacation. It's the holiday season.
Sure.
And no, yeah, we're going to start getting some of our crew on the stream games and showing you guys the kind of fun that we have at Table 1. So that is going to be happening soon, and that's inside the Poker Go studio as well. I'm looking forward to that actually a lot, so I'm glad you said something because I've been wanting that to happen for a long time to get on there. I mean, I have stream revenge, I've only played on one. And
You played so good though.
I played so good though. I should have won.
Go back and watch it. Like
actually, I played on 2, but I played a lot worse on the very first one. I feel like I'm gonna slowly staircase my way to break even.
I hope so.
Yeah, I played awful. We played the no gamble, no future, and I got some of the embarrassing hands didn't make it to TV, so that's good.
Thankfully,
but I got bluffed off some big hands. I called with some bad hands. Yeah, I'm basically broke because of Poker Go. But I want to get back on and get my revenge in the near future on my fellow Table 1 friends. So I am looking forward to that a lot. And just growing the game, growing the channel. We're gonna have. Oh, I was about to say some names. We're gonna have some really good guests on again very soon, early part of 2024. And I'm looking forward to the World Series, even though
No, it's a good time of year.
It's a good time of year for poker, for cash games, and for tournaments. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the first half of 2024. See poker continue to boom. It seems like it's in like a second boom here, maybe third. I don't know.
Maybe third boom seems right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then with regard to the Twitter and YouTube, like I'm looking forward to having some like really, really cool guests on that. A lot of the comments that I've seen and people have told me in private is like, I really like seeing some of these people that I've followed for years, but I don't know anything about them. So like have some guys on that, we'll call them some Nick Howard types, because we had Nick on. Sure. And he opened up, had us taking shots every 8 minutes, and it was really fun. People got to see a fun side of him that his Twitter persona probably does not portray. He's a businessman on Twitter, but he's a friendly, fun guy in our game.
And just a follow up, just to let you guys know, shortly after the interview, we all hung around Art's place and we talked for probably another hour and a half, 2 hours, and everybody in the group cried at different points. And
I don't remember this, by the way, for the record.
Sure, but I do. And I would say 2 to 3 times Nick Howard just calmly said, "Sorry guys, I need to throw up real quick." And like just calmly went, and just like we just heard this loud projectile or whatever. Sorry, Nick. I know you don't mind this being told or whatever, but like we hung out for a few hours afterwards, and we got quite a bit closer as well. Like it was
It's true. When I was editing that episode, I went back and I listened to the audio, and I was just praying that we didn't take our mics off and that we had them, so I could just listen and remember what the hell happened after that. Because yeah, there was some heaving and there was some.
There were some tears. I don't even remember why we cried, but like the next morning, like Nick texted us both, and he was like, "I just remember throwing up and crying. I'm not sure what happened."
Yeah, exactly. That's why you want to have the evidence, the recorded evidence. But no, we've had a really good time this last 6 months with the Table One crew, and man, I'm really looking forward to another year of that and just growing this community. Yeah, and then what about let's do some predictions for overall something for in 1 year from now. We can look smart or stupid. What do you think the next year looks like for? Well, let's do something measurable that we can look at. Like
Sure.
main event runners this year, 2024 versus 2023. Do you think we're going to have more or less?
Me personally, I think we're gonna say pretty much constant. Like if I had to bet money on it, I would say slightly more, but. Even more so, I do want to make a prediction for the final table. I am predicting that Sean Deeb, even though he's going to lose his technical bet about his weight loss, I think he's going to come into the World Series under 200 pounds. I think he's going to make the final table, and that's kind of where I'm going to
What's
end
his
it.
weight loss bet?
Like, well, it's a fat percentage bet, so like it's not even weight loss, but like.
I know about the bet, but I don't know the terms. You know something about it?
So I believe Bill Perkins basically bet him to get from, I think it was some absurd number. He might have been around like 26, 27% body fat, and he had to get down below.
It's got to be higher than that.
Sure, fine. It was
I feel
92% body fat.
I'm like 35% body fat at least.
So sorry. If he's 35, Sean Dean must have been 98%. I apologize. But like, I think his
body fat was his VPIP in 2008.
Yeah. But like he took the bet very seriously. I know he has a lot of money on it. I know a lot of people think he's drawing very thin or dead or whatever. But that being said, I know he's sticking to it. And like I think I saw on there he's already down to 220 pounds. Which
I think he's sub. Actually, no. I was gonna say
he's not under 200 yet.
No. I think that was somebody else posted like the first time I'm seeing under 200. Maybe that was I don't want to say any names. It was someone else.
Sure.
but yeah, he's getting skinny.
And like I think he's living the lifestyle. He's still traveling a lot for poker. I've seen him in Houston. I've seen him here. Obviously, I'm going to see him in like Florida in a bit. Great dude. I honestly think he's going to like find a lifestyle that is going to fit him. And even if he loses the bet, which I'm not saying he will or won't, I think he's going to stick to it. I think he's going to come in sub 200, looking fit, and I think he's going to crush next year's World Series poker.
Waffle Crush?
Wasn't that his team? That's right. Ted's Fish Fry. It was the other one. Yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
Yeah,
it's a resurgence of the old guys. We're coming back in the
That's true.
That's why I'm gonna play some tournaments this year. I definitely didn't play any last year, but
old school.
Old school is coming back. Chris Moorman's at the final table of the
Lucky
WPT.
Chewy.
Lucky Chewy's at the final table of the WPT. Final 6.
Yeah.
That's 2 people I know.
That's a lot of money. That's 5.6 million up top.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
So what about you? Like what are you predicting for World Series main event? better, worse? Any dark horses, new horses?
Let's see. I think it's going to be not a banner year, but like I think it's going to continue up also from last year, which I wish I had a good enough brain to remember how many people we had, but it's not going to be Jamie Gold year status. We're not in that kind of environment.
Sure.
But I think that tournament is going to be a little bit bigger than last year, and then I am going to pick a different Sean as a dark horse.
Oh.
I'm going to pick Sean Daniels, a good friend of ours, and plays Table 1 a lot. And I know he loves tournaments, and he won the 777, 777
Yeah, all the sevens.
Year.
Outright, too. No chop, by the way. Holy cow.
Guess what? $777,777. And yeah, outright no chop. And that's a funny story, too.
It really was.
How did it go? Do you know it?
Well, I think it was kind of a weird spot where they were talking deal at some point, and someone shut it down. And then Sean got heads up with, I don't know who it was, but they got heads up, and Sean was okay making a deal. Because I think Chip Leader had like 22 blinds, and like second place had like 14 blinds. So it's just one of those spots where it's just like, if I see Queen High and you get King High, we're getting it anyway. And before they could even discuss chopping it, the hand happened, and Sean just happened to win. I think he being like King Queen versus like Ace 4 or something like that. But like,
I remember now. Okay, so that's close to the story, but I was thinking about it. The guy was foreign that got second, and ew, I know he's not American, but he didn't have a tax number.
Oh, that's it. That's what it was.
He didn't have a tax number, and he was not going to just go on faith that this guy was going to pay him if he won. And the WSOP, for some reason,
they don't facilitate. Yeah.
They won't facilitate a deal. Yeah. So to think just like trusting a stranger that you've been battling with for days, or at least that day, for a six-figure difference in your payout, if you
second place was probably like $450,000.
It's a shitty free roll where you know that you're good for it and you're going to do it. But you don't know the other guy and whether he's going to do it. And it's not like you have time to write a contract and any of that stuff. So yeah, they were talking about that, and the tax thing came up, and it's like, oh, I don't have my numbers, so like it's going to be an issue for me to get the money anyway. It's going to take a few weeks. I'm going to have to like send it to you. And he was just like, all right, we're both making a good amount of money. Let's just play. I don't want that to be the thing, but like the government and the World Series is forcing my hand. So they played, and the heads up lasted all of like 5 hands.
No, I think it was one hand. I honestly think it was one hand. Okay. I'm being dead serious. I think it was exactly one hand.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense if they got 20 blinds and 14 and someone has King, Queen, and Ace 4.
And I think, and again, I could be wrong, but like I was sweating at the time, but I'm pretty sure Sean Daniels had King, Queen, and he had like a weak ace or something like that.
And he just hit. Yeah. Or vice versa.
Just one to flip. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so that.
So you think Sean Daniels is gonna like do well?
I don't know. I think he's gonna have a good World Series. I don't know if he's gonna win the main event, since it was
a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, and it was a big turbo that he won, but he is one of my favorite people in poker, and I would love to see him do well. So I wanna put another Sean into the hat.
That's a good Sean.
And. Yeah, we'll cycle back this time World Series or this time next year when we're doing our recap and see how awesomely right we were.
I'm pretty sure we're both going to be right. Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. Fast forward 12 months, Sean Deeb, peak weight 500 pounds. Sean Daniels, eaten by Sean Deeb.
We should just think about all the other Seans we're forgetting about, and they're all just going to fucking crush. Every other Sean is just going to demolish.
I don't think he plays tournaments, but he played on a stream game with you one time. Sean Madden, shout out. I think you're going to do well. Yeah, you're going to win.
Sean
one
Winner.
bracelet, 2 bracelets, maybe three, going 3, maybe 4 bracelets, 4 bracelets. Sorry, he's an auctioneer for those who don't know. The guy we're talking about.
Might be on next year. We'll see.
We might, yeah. Spoiler alert.
But yeah, whatever. I think we're just pro Sean. So I think let's just look back and just lump all the Seans together, no matter how you spell it, SEAN or...
Yeah, any Seans do well this year, we called it.
Yeah, that's got to be half the population, right? I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it is.
Maybe we should have done arts.
No. There's like 2 decent arts, and you're not one of them.
Oh, god damn it. Papazon?
Papasson.
Papazon. I get confused for him sometimes because my last
Really?
name starts with a P. Yo, you're Art P? I'm like, well, which one are you thinking of?
Stu Marshak?
Sorry, I get confused for another guy often as well. Stu. Shout out to Stu Marshak.
Love Stu.
Love him.
But yeah, those are some good predictions for next World Series. Do you foresee any more drama in the private game cheating scandals going on?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, there's always going to be drama in private games. That's just like a
Yeah.
fact of life. But
Sure.
when you mix non-casino into the mix and the technology that's ever increasing, I just don't see how home games. I mean, they're gonna survive, but like, there's a funny story that someone was telling about home games the other day at the poker table. I don't think it was here on the podcast, but someone was telling a story where they said, I go to this home game, I lose every time. You know, I'm down whatever they're down. But in the casino, they lose as well. Like, they're just bad player. They lose all the time. And someone was like, you know that game is cheated, right? That home game is cheated. And he was like, yeah, but I get a lot better hands there. So I think someone was telling that story the other day at the table, and it just resonated because it's just, I mean, first of all, just hilarious. But like, that's kind of the mindset of the people that you're trying to steal from in these home games, where you're like,
You need casino protection.
Yeah, you need casino protection for the games to be legit, or complete idiot suckers to like play in these home games where they're like, oh, but I get kings a lot. Who cares if they have aces every time?
I might be a fable, but like the big story I've heard multiple times is a guy will be up, he'll go to the bathroom, and he'll come back, and they'll deal him in, and then like the guy looks down at 2 aces with like a raise in front of him and a couple calls or something like that, and like the guy's just like, nope, not going to get me this way. It just like
he
folds
just
the
laughs
aces.
and folds.
He's like, sorry guys, good try.
yeah, you got to be crafty if you're going to go to these cheated home games. Yeah, so
I'm sure there's some like very legitimate home games out there. Don't get me wrong, especially in the lower like sector or whatever. But
yeah, once you get over 5-10 no limit,
it's
the
tough.
incentives and the cost of the technology to cheat people is low enough to make it worth it to try.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Justin and I have both played home games in the past, years and years ago. Both been cheated. We don't know in the moment. Obviously, you find out years later when these people are being, outed. But yeah, hopefully we have some people on later in this podcast that want to shed some light on some of these cheated games and these people. But I'm not going to do that.
Nope.
I'm about what's happening now and what's good for us. I like the Table 1 game. I trust the Aria. I trust any casino that spreads a poker game. And these shuffle machines, they can do whatever, but you have to cut the cards. The dealer cuts the cards, and yeah, any cheating dealer is not going to be around too long. In home games maybe, but no, you gotta be vigilant with your money, and if you're gonna gamble, you may as well do it someplace
Get some protection.
It's like has a legal monopoly on things being fair. Like it'd be silly to cheat from a casino standpoint.
For sure.
So
I honestly think there's going to be a downtick as far as home games are concerned. Obviously, there's going to be some top end ones that are very trusted out there, and there are. But I would be wary of any new ones popping up. Just to be clear. And I know I'm kind of promoting our own thing by poo-pooing like their thing, but to be fair, Art's right. Like casinos got cameras, protection, good dealers, floor, all that fun stuff. It's just much easier.
Yeah, I mean, these multi-billion-dollar corporations aren't gonna stick their neck out for a poker game. So you gotta trust what's out there, and you just gotta use your head. So I agree with you. In the future, this is not something that can really be tracked or tested. I mean, maybe there will be more scandals that come up, but I prefer to lose my money inside the casino.
Damn right. I want to see where it's going.
Yeah. So that I agree with you on that prediction. Prediction. How about predictions for this YouTube channel?
Oh.
We're at 550 something subscribers right now.
So you want me to predict for the end of the year next year?
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible. Oh, that's so hard. I'm gonna look like a jerk one way or the other, I think.
That's all right.
Honestly, I do think it's gonna be kind of exponential. Like we're gonna continue. Like there's no reason not to. This has been incredibly fun with literally like one of my best friends in the world, Art Parman. I couldn't imagine not doing this with him. So like I've been so blessed. Blessed is a weird word. Sorry. I've been so happy to like been reached out to by so many people like during tournaments and cash games and on Twitter and other social platforms saying how much they enjoy this stuff. I expect this to be at, I'm going to say 4,500 followers this time next year.
Okay, a 9x.
9x.
We're going
I
up
think
9x.
Right.
I think that's a
I got a little
prediction.
mushy there in the middle, but yeah, I'm going to say 9x.
That's going to turn some of the followers off. They're not going to hit the subscribe button. They're going to unhit it. But don't do it. We need you guys.
Unhit it and hit it again. You know how I like it. Sorry.
Yeah, do that. Grab him by the Santa hat, guys. Be his bucking bronco. All right. Don't ban us from YouTube. Don't report us. Yeah, I think that is a good prediction.
Oh, don't cop out. Come on, be a man. Do
It's
something.
a good prediction
but
if you don't believe in us. I think after the World Series next summer, we're going to be doing 2 episodes a week.
Oh.
And we're going to have 10,000 followers.
Wow, just by July 1st?
No, by the end of the year. But
By the
we're
end?
going to start
Okay.
at least doing 2
Oh,
at some point because, you guys the outreach is going to be like crazy. You guys are going to be like, listen, I want to get on the podcast. And then we're going to have to be saying no. I'm going to have to not reply to all your comments, but I'm going to read them. And you're going to make my pants vibrate every time anyway. And I will send the best ones to Justin.
he does.
Because they're all the best ones.
Yeah.
And he's going to get them all. But yeah, that's what I think. 10,000
That's good.
by
I
next
like
year.
it. All right.
And Twitter's going to be 10,000 as well.
Oh,
Boom.
I think Twitter for sure. I
Yeah.
like that.
Well, I guess, yeah, Twitter right now is... Actually, we're very close to 1,000. So if you're not following us on Twitter already, at Table 1 Vegas, we have, as of the time of this recording, 986 followers.
We should do another giveaway for the 1,000.
For the thousands, we could be there. We could already be there.
That
I
is
haven't checked
actually
it
true.
in
We probably are.
6 hours, but but we could be there. We already did a giveaway where we sent a T-shirt that is not quite in the mail yet. Sorry, Jess Wellman, but you have one coming.
Love Jess.
He loves Jess.
I do.
She's a very nice woman, and I was about to say where she lives, but this is going out to a lot of people. 10,000 of them next year. So she lives in the eastern part of the United States, and I'm sending her a T-shirt once my wife makes it, which she has not yet. Sorry, Jess.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's where it will be. I think
that's good.
that's a fun guess, double your guess. But I have faith in us, and
Wait. What do you say? Pessimists get to be right. Optimists get to be rich. Is that right?
yeah, that's a
You know what? A $100 bet. Who's closer? Not Price is Right rolls because I'd be drawing dead. I think.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Done. All right. Binding bet.
Closest to.
Binding. $100.
Oh yeah,
10,000 versus 4,500.
One Benjamin Franklin.
I hope I lose. By the way, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good hope. Yeah, so let's check in with us next year. Same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll settle that. Anything else we want to close on? You think?
No, let's just tell them where to follow us and let them know that we'll put out more content in 2 weeks, and it'll be some good guests. I promise. It'll be
For
good.
sure. So if you want to get Art closer to $100, you gotta do what we call the Degenerates Agreement. It's the end of the episode, but it's not over yet. We do this content, and it's not for free. All we need is a like, a subscribe, a follow on Twitter. Instagram's cool too. And if you have any friends that like to play high stakes but don't want to feel like they're being poached or hunted by other professionals in the game, Send them to the place where the hosts don't win. Me and
Sad
Justin,
but true.
yeah,
We don't
eventually we're gonna win in our own poker game. But the goal is to just win enough to
keep this going.
keep the lights on.
This is the dream.
And if that doesn't work, we need you to keep the lights on because seriously, it's getting dim in here. So yeah, just give us a follow, give us a like, tell your friends, sign up to the Hand of the Week newsletter, which comes out apparently now every 3 weeks because I haven't sent one in a while. But I will get back on it. We will get some fun hands out there for you guys to follow, and yeah, just do that, and we will just continue to get better. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Appreciate you guys.
love you guys. That's the pod. Okay, and speaking of Hand of the Week, I know it's been weeks and weeks since I've had a Hand of the Week.
Too long.
But Justin was just telling me before we started that there was a really crazy hand that happened that could qualify as Hand of the Week. And although we don't have video evidence of the hand, Justin says he remembers it like it was yesterday. ...
So that might be an overestimate, but we at least have like the broad strokes of the hand. For those who that don't know, we do a bomb pot every half hour to take care of like time and tip for the floor and the dealer and whatnot. So everyone puts in $200, and then in the specific experience, everyone gets 2 cards, and it was 1 flop. It was very simple. We call it missionary.
Just a no limit hold'em bomb pot. Not double board, not Omaha. Sometimes we do crazy shit.
Step mom, we do sex change, we do a bunch of stuff. Like we
know
have a bunch
either of those.
Really? Oh, you've been gone for a while. Oh, I can teach you all those games. But either way, so like this one's called missionary, which is just everyone gets still 2 cards, everyone sees the flop, and you play normal no limit Texas Hold'em.
So it's like no limit without the pre-flop action.
Correct. So there's 9 people in the game. Everyone gets cards. We all see the flop. There's $1,800 in the middle. The flop is 10-8-7, 2 clubs, 1 spade.
Okay.
You follow? All right.
I'm following.
All right. Check. A couple of them. Our good friend Harry decides to put a little feeler bet. I believe it was something like $600. It gets to our good friend Susan, who makes it, or no, she calls. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Paul Gunnis, who's a fan favorite for everybody. He also calls. And then Montana Dan, who is a longtime favorite of ours, he decides to pop it up to like 3,500, something like that.
Okay, he doesn't usually sip too deep. How deep was he for this hand?
I believe he's about 9,000.
Okay.
So like it's very pot committal.
Yeah.
Especially on a draw heavy board of the 10-8-7, 2
Yeah.
clubs, 1 spade board.
Yeah.
Harry thinks everyone else folds in between. Harry thinks for maybe 3 seconds.
Okay.
And he just rips it in for about 15,000.
Okay.
That's a quite a hefty raise. He gets back to Susan, and she snap rips it in for about the same amount. Maybe she might have had 20,000. Like she might have had it like slightly covered. And then it gets to Paul, and he snap calls as well.
God.
So we have a 4-way all-in on the
Paul had
10-8-7.
Same amount, like 20 or 15?
I think he had everyone covered. No, I know he had everyone. No, I take that back. He had like 15,000.
Okay.
So like Susan had everyone covered, and it went on down from there.
Okay.
So these are the hands. So
And the other guy,
Montana
called?
Dan calls off.
Yeah.
Clearly Montana Dan showed the top set of 10s on the 10-8-7.
Okay.
Harry had the 7-5 of clubs, so he had bottom pair and a flush draw.
Okay.
And that seems like a really good hand at the time. But he's almost drawing dead.
Yeah.
Literally drawing dead now. Like, you see all the
He's
action
already
behind.
the 2 pairs and trips and stuff
It's
mean
just-
nothing. Already,
it's
just
just
against the
terrible.
10s, you only have a flush draw. Okay, what about Susan? What did she have? Did
Oh,
we see all
yeah,
these
like
hands?
the first person that showed, to be fair, was Paul. Right
Okay.
away. He's like, I have the nuts, motherfuckers. I just stood up and showed Jack 9 of spades and just ripped it over. And he was just like, I call. Let's go. Jack 9 of spades.
Wow,
We got this.
I can't believe you just called the flop. That's so sick.
Dude, he's
He's an
sicko.
animal.
And like Susan's like, you don't have the nuts. I have the nuts. And she showed me the hand before she showed the table. She shows me 9-6 of clubs. So she has
Oh my god.
The second nuts
So she's behind
with
right
a
now,
with a flush straw.
Oh no. Good and bad and scary, I guess.
And it was just like, I was like, oh no, he just showed the nuts. It's okay. And she like shows it. I'm like, I'm sure, like, you know, she's gonna win probably one of these boards. I'm sure. Like,
They ran it twice?
and they decided to run it twice.
Okay.
And the first board comes off a 3 of nothings, and then another 3 of nothings.
So Paul just held in
So-
this massive 60K
No,
pot?
like no. Montana Dan has top set of 10s,
Yeah.
so it runs pair
Oh, 3-3.
3-3.
Oh, I thought it was like, I don't know. I mean,
So Paul wins the side pot, which is probably worth about, you know, like split pot wise, whatever, like 4,000 or 5,000. But like, you know, Dan scoops the first part.
okay, so the first board
It's 10, 8,
runs
7.
out 3-3 for
3-3.
10s full.
Yeah.
And then the second board,
Second board is like a red ace, and then like an 8 of diamonds. So it pairs the board again.
oh no. Oh, Montana.
Montana Dan goes from about 9,000 to about 42,000 in a blink of an eye, just like that.
He went from big sky country to big boat country.
Like he saw everyone showed their hands. There was no like mystery. Everyone knew what they were rooting for and what not to root for. And Montana's just like, oh, whatever. It couldn't
He's
happen.
kind of in a nice spot there. Like,
No, I mean, it's
you're
great.
behind, but like you're the only guy drawing
Sure,
to a
of
boat.
course.
It's
And he
pretty
just binks
glorious.
it twice.
Oh my god!
And like just the anger and like understandable anger from like Paul and Susan. Like they both essentially had the nuts. And to be fair, Harry was just like, oh, I'm just pretty sure I'm just drawing dead right now. Because like I don't, outside of him like he can't even make a straight flush. I don't even know what he can do. He has to go running 7s. I don't even know what he can do to win.
He's got the foul deck outs.
Yeah.
He's got then another 7 of clubs pops out, and boom, everyone gets their money back.
To be fair,
In a home game, it can happen.
Harry immediately was like, that's a good hand. I would like more chips, please.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way he could have known that the 2 people behind him would call too. Like he thinks he's up
It's
against
a great,
just
like it's a
Dan.
great spot for him.
Yeah.
Like he's
Like, he's-
isolating everybody, and
Yeah, if I were him, I'd probably do the same thing.
Oh, yeah,
3,500
100%.
here, I'm all in. These guys both fold. I'm heads up against one guy with a bunch of money
whatever.
in the pot.
Yeah, they could show me top set, and I'd be 7-5 of clubs is.
Yeah, I mean,
I could be okay with that. That'd be all right.
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna run into it, you're gonna run into it. But
And Paul ended up winning a side pot against Susan, and like maybe a little extra money from Harry as well. So I think he lost a little bit of money, but not a ton.
yeah, he
Like,
gets to
he gets to break even essentially.
lose 4K
But like
or
still,
something.
like when you flop the absolute stone nuts with a backdoor straight flush draw and still lose money on it or break even on it, that's no fun.
yeah, bomb pots are dangerous, kids. Stay in school.
That's like sick to PLO double board bomb pots with Caps and Optimist. And,
Yeah, at least if it's double board PLO, you know you're getting fucked. You just don't know how yet. And hold them, you're like, I got him straight. Let's go.
But still, like I mean, that's basically a PLO pot in a hold'em terms, where everyone just has the nuts and nobody has the nuts.
Yeah, Jesus. That's a great hand.
It really was.
Thank you for rehashing
So,
it
yeah.
here for the fans.
The main pot was probably 42,000. The side pot was probably about another 15,000 or something.
Okay,
It's
big
sick.
60K pot.
Yeah, it was sick. Yeah. So if you're gonna have the nuts, guys, make sure it holds on.
That's right. Wear a cup.
Hold on to the nuts.
Protect the nuts. Wear a cup.
Yeah, that's good.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy, we working hard.